Interstate 190. Yeah, Buffalo. We got the Chiefs taking on the Bills this week, so we are taking a look at Interstate 190. It is the most Buffalo of roads, so it makes sense to be looking at today. All right, let's take a look at the route of Interstate 190, and we see it leaves I-90 south of Buffalo, goes right through town, and weaves over to Niagara Falls before going into Canada. You're watching Control City Freak. This is the YouTube channel where we talk about highways and the places that they're signed to go to. If you dig this kind of content, why not give us a like? And if you really like it, why not subscribe? Yeah. Subscribe. And if you really dig it, why not check out the Patreon? We got a Patreon going. There's all kinds of cool stuff going there. You can request exits. We got some Patreon requests today, so thank you to the Patreons. And you can also request exits the old-fashioned way. I'm not sure what we're gonna have next week. I can't predict the divisional round, but you guys will know as soon as I do, and you can request a $5 super sticker for that. And I can tell you for sure the week after that we will be doing Florida's Turnpike, and the week after that Las Vegas Boulevard, so cool stuff coming. All right, let's take a look at Northbound 190. Here is where Interstate 190 starts. It leaves I-90, which is signed for Albany and Rochester. 190 is signed north for downtown Buffalo and for Niagara Falls. Could just be signed for Buffalo since 90 never really gets into Buffalo, but downtown definitely works. Coming from the other direction on I-90, on West 90, West 90 is for Erie, 190 for downtown Buffalo and Canada. So we don't mention Niagara Falls because it's assumed if you were going there, you would have gotten off earlier off of the thruway. So here is the start of 190, and 190 is actually an old-timey part of the thruway itself, and the thruway actually maintains this section, although there are no longer any tolls. And we see US 62, the great US 62 is signed here on exit 2. Here's a look at southern Buffalo, kind of industrial from what we can see from the side of the road here. Now we start to get our first good look at downtown Buffalo as we get our exit for Elm Street and Canal Side. Here's another nice view of downtown, and we can see the minor league baseball park right over there. And right below 190, we've got the Buffalo Amtrak station, and not much there. Expected that to be a little bigger. And here's another look at the Buffalo skyline along with the baseball field, the minor league baseball park that's right there downtown. Now we get to exit 7, Buffalo Outer Harbor and Church Street. This exit was requested by Edwin Paskey. He wanted to see this exit because this is one of several routes that would go to the Anchor Bar. Thank you so much, really appreciate that. That is a Patreon request. And here's a look at the Anchor Bar. The Anchor Bar is the original home of Buffalo Wings, so if I ever make it to Buffalo myself, I will definitely check that place out. And here's another view of downtown Buffalo right after we pass that exit. From this point, having gone through downtown, we are now on 190 North Niagara Falls, and we've got Peace Bridge and Fort Erie Kind of a lame way to shorten Canada there. And also, Fort Erie, come on, Toronto. Sign Toronto. This goes to the Queen Elizabeth Way, which is a road we did not too long ago, which you can check out right over here. And here is the Peace Bridge itself with the Queen Elizabeth Way on top of it. Here we get New York Highway 198, the Skagwada Expressway. I hope I said that right. I watched that a couple of times. And much of 190 goes right along the Niagara River. So here we are heading along that river south of the falls. And now we're going to be meeting 290, East 290 to I-90, Tonawanda and Rochester, this exit. So we're going Rochester instead of Albany. Interesting because it is the thruway that is still signing this, and generally the thruway signs Albany. And here we are crossing the bridge over to Grand Island, so this is a pretty cool looking bridge. Certainly nowhere near interstate standard, but nice looking. And here we pass a toll apparatus because the bridge is actually still a toll road, but the rest of it is free. And now we're meeting 324, New York Highway 324, Grand Island Boulevard, and wow, look at this font we have on here. This is a Helvetica font instead of the normal Highway Gothic or Clearview, kind of interesting. And now we're crossing the North Grand Island Bridge, and we'll be heading toward the city of Niagara Falls. This bridge is also very much not interstate standard, and we've got exit 21, Niagara Falls State Park and American Falls coming right up. And here is New York Highway 384. This is actually the ending of the thruway signage here, and this is now the NYSDOT signage. NYSDOT runs this highway from this point on. And welcome to Niagara Falls. At this point, 190 at random interchanges is signed North Lewiston, which, Lewiston is a pretty tiny place. I guess people know it for the bridge to Canada, but I would say just signing it North Canada at this point would actually be better. And here is exit 22 for US 62 Niagara Falls Boulevard. This exit was requested by the Derphog. He wanted to see this because he made a video about US 62 with a pretty funny bit in there, so check that out. It's pretty cool. Thank you so much, really appreciate that. That is a Patreon request. Delays ahead when flashing, which I imagine would be Canada Bridge related, so local traffic following northbound alternate, local traffic that is not going to Canada. And now we're getting toward our end. We got Niagara Scenic Parkway and Lewiston, these exits, and Canada Toll 1.25 miles away. Niagara Scenic Parkway is our final exit, and we get Canada Toll 1 mile from this point. This is as close as we could get to Canada on Street View. We did not get any street view of the bridge. There is no street view of this bridge at all for some reason, so I can't show you guys that. Anyway, we'll turn around and head southbound. Here we are back in Canada, back on the QEW, and on the QEW we met Ontario Highway 405, and we will be exiting here, Queenston and Lewiston, USA. Lewiston, USA makes a little more sense this time around, and I do understand it's signed because of the bridges that the people in Canada are thinking of, the Lewiston Bridge or the Fort Erie Bridge. 504, there's not much to it. We're getting one exit later. We get the last exit before USA, and then trucks to USA, cars to USA, 2 and 4 kilometers. Here we are heading into the Canadian side customs and immigration area and exiting Canada, but this is as far as we can go. I don't have a picture of the bridge, just like going northbound. So on the other side, on the Niagara Scenic Parkway, we get a sign for 190 South, Niagara Falls and Buffalo. The city of Niagara Falls is south of here, so that makes sense. And at random interchanges further south, we are getting Canada and Buffalo. We're meeting US 62 once again, so we've got that exit right here. And we're also getting the LaSalle Expressway and the Tonawandas coming up. This sign is actually coming from the LaSalle Expressway. I showed you the northbound sign before, but here's the full sign. So South Grand Island in Buffalo, because Grand Island is south of here, that we are in the city of Niagara Falls, and North Lewiston. Here we are crossing the bridge back over to Grand Island. And in Grand Island, they've got this little Niagara Falls amusement park, amusement area. I was hoping there might be a roller coaster or something. Maybe there is, but this is all I could see from Street View. And at random interchanges on Grand Island, we are signed for Buffalo, south of here, as you would think. And back off of Grand Island, back on the mainland, we've got South 190 Buffalo, and we're meeting 290 again. So 290 east to I-90, Tonawanda and Rochester. No love for I-990, I guess. I-990 doesn't get any mention at all, and it doesn't get to touch I-90 or 190. Here we are going along the river once again, heading toward Buffalo. And we do get a welcome sign. We get this City of Buffalo, so we know we have entered the city now. And here we have once again the Skagwada Expressway, kind of major ring road around central Buffalo, because New York loves to build these tight ring roads around their provincial cities for some reason. And now we are getting south and north 190. This is coming off the Skagwada Expressway. So now we are assigned for downtown and Niagara Falls, which makes perfect sense. Here's another look at the Peace Bridge as we go south along the Niagara River. And here comes our exit for the Peace Bridge, exit 9, Porter Avenue and Peace Bridge, Canada. So this time we spell out Canada and don't spell out bridge. Makes a little more sense in my opinion. And we are getting our exits for our non-Bills related stadiums here in downtown Buffalo at exit 6. And here is another look at downtown Buffalo as we head southbound. And we can see where the Sabres play. This is just south of downtown, Key Bank Center. Key Bank. A name sponsor so bad they couldn't keep Seattle with an NBA team. And they couldn't keep the Sonics in Seattle in the Key Bank Arena. Pretty lame there, Key Bank. And heading south, we are going to hit US 62 once again, Bailey Avenue. Here's an exit for New York State Highway 16 for Seneca Street and 354 for Clinton Street coming soon. We are nearing the end of 190, so exit 1 Ogden Street is our last exit, and then we are getting east 90 Buffalo Airport in Albany and west 90 Erie. Right here, you can kind of make out where the toll booth used to be. This was where the toll facility was for getting onto this part. I believe they tore it down in the 90s and made it a electronic toll before some guy sued and said, hey, we've already paid the bonds on this road, so why do we still keep paying the tolls? And they agreed, and no more tolls. And we are meeting I-90 just shortly, so 90 once again, Buffalo Airport and Albany, and west Fort Erie. We are not getting anything for Rochester because Rochester traffic would have taken 290. And here is the actual split, and we see those 90 signs up there. We are going to follow westbound 90 toward Erie, and we see the exits are getting bigger as we go further west, and the exits get smaller as you go further east, which is the opposite of what you usually see, which is something that was pointed out to me on a Patreon request. That is a request by Boss King Inc. He wanted to see the end of 190 in the 90 junction and why the exits go backwards, because of course they start in New York City, so thus they go backwards throughout the entire time on the 90 portion of the thruway. So thanks so much for that request, and that's good information. Thank you. And here we are. We may as well go to the stadium. I guess we're going to the game here, so we'll merge onto westbound 90. Also, I looked on 190. There's no signage at all for the Bills Stadium whatsoever, which is weird because, I mean, I guess people in downtown Buffalo would know how to get there, but people coming over from Canada might not know which way it is to the stadium on 90, so you'd think it'd be helpful to say, you know, whichever way toward the stadium, in this case it's west, let us know. Here we meet US 219, and it is signed for Orchard Park and Springville. Again, we get no sign for the Bills Stadium, so we will just assume that I know the stadium's in Orchard Park, so let's say we'll follow this, I guess. Further down, we do see that Ralph Wilson Rich Stadium is going to be at Highway 179 or Highway 20A. It actually would be even closer if there was an exit for US 20 on 219, but there isn't. So I got off at the first exit, and we are going to be turning left. We do have a sign that tells us which way to go, so we will follow that. And along the way, we will pass the great US 20. Don't worry, guys, we'll have a video for it one day, I promise. I don't know when, but it's coming. Might be a year, but it's coming. And here, this is it. This is the stadium. This is the whole thing. I've seen lots of games and stuff on TV in this stadium. I've seen footage in this stadium, but I've never bothered to actually look up where it is. And wow, that is the lamest setup for a stadium I've ever seen. I apologize to the good people of Foxborough and all the insults I had about your stadium. This, I know they're replacing it soon. Wow, this is really sad looking. You're out in the middle of nowhere here, and there's just nothing here. And Foxborough, at least you got a train coming out of there. And here is the stadium itself. Looks a little better from the parking lot. Wow, yeah, I mean, looking at the stadium, I suddenly understand the inkling to get blackout drunk and jump through a flaming table. Makes sense now. All right, let's take a look at Todd's the way it should be for Interstate 190. This is fairly simple. I'm going to say the way it should be is northbound 190 should be signed for Buffalo or downtown, and then Niagara Falls, and then Canada. And if they wanted to go ahead and sign it for Toronto, that'd be really nifty too. Southbound, I will say it should be signed for Buffalo. Niagara Falls, you could probably skip because Buffalo is such a bigger city, and then sign it from Erie from that point on afterward. All right, thank you so much for watching this episode of Control City Freak. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate the requests. Everybody who does request, thanks to all the subscribers. And of course, thanks to the Patreons. I really appreciate what you guys do. It is so helpful for me on this end. Go Chiefs. I hope I will be talking about the Chiefs next week. If the Buffalo Bills are hosting a game next week, I might just do 290 because it's short and I'll be angry because the Chiefs lost. So hopefully, let's have something Chiefs related next week. All right, thank you so much for watching this episode of Control City Freak. Until next time, my name is Todd, and keep on trucking.